You know that moment when the doorbell rings unexpectedly in the middle of a Tuesday evening and you just completely freeze?
Oh, absolutely. The universal defensive freeze.
Ah,
Every single one of us does it.
right. You set down your coffee with like incredible precision so the mug doesn't make a single sound.
Yeah, you tiptoe to the front door, you hold your breath, and you look through the people.
Exactly. And you have about 1 single second to decide. Do I open this door or do I pretend I dropped off the face of the earth?
It's hilarious, but it's true.
Right.
And regardless of where we live or who we are,
Hmm.
our breathing gets shallow, our heart rate bumps up just a fraction, and we instantly go into full flood assessment mode.
And that biological instinct, that immediate spike in defensive energy, is exactly what we are dissecting today.
Yes, and we have a really fascinating source for this deep dive.
We do. You and I are looking at an excerpt from a highly specific training manual. It's called The Doorstep Trust System, Mastering the First Impression.
Right.
And we're analyzing this through an intense, high-stakes lens today, which is the world of roofing sales reps.
Which I think is so interesting. But it's important to ground ourselves in the reality of the source material right from the start.
Totally.
Because, this isn't some theoretical corporate leadership book. This is tactical field operations training.
Yeah, built specifically for canvassers, storm restoration teams, roofing reps, people who are quite literally making contact at the front door.
Right. They are the people standing on the other side of that peephole while you are holding your breath.
Which makes it the absolute perfect laboratory for understanding human interaction. Because, even if you have never sold a roof in your life, you face these doorstep moments
Oh,
constantly.
all the time.
Maybe it's walking into a tense boardroom to pitch a new strategy, or logging onto a Zoom call with a skeptical client whose account you really need to save.
Or even just walking up to a new group of people at a networking event.
Exactly. You have this microscopic window of time, roughly 60 seconds, to either win someone's confidence or be completely mentally blocked out. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Where does a genuine connection actually begin? Because our source material points out a massive industry-wide misconception right out of the gate.
It does. And the fundamental misunderstanding centers entirely around timelines.
Timelines.
Yeah, like most professionals, whether they sell roofs or enterprise software, they operate under this illusion that the interaction begins when they start talking about their product.
Right.
A roofing rep, for instance, thinks the clock starts when they pull out the damage estimate or show the shingle samples or talk about the warranty.
But the source strictly refutes this.
Completely. The reality is that the homeowner is evaluating the person long before they ever evaluate the product.
They are scrutinizing the messenger, not the message.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really comes down to cognitive load and how the human brain processes interruptions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, when a stranger knocks on your door, particularly in a neighborhood that might have just been hit by a severe hailstorm, you aren't in a calm, analytical state.
No, you're busy, you're stressed.
Exactly. Your property might be damaged, you are overwhelmed. Your brain's threat detection center, the amygdala, takes the wheel.
So you aren't thinking logically.
Not at all. Your cognitive load spikes so high that you physically cannot process technical expertise.
Hmm.
The brain is entirely consumed with answering one subconscious question, which is, am I safe?
Wow. It reminds me of the first 5 seconds of a YouTube ad.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Like when a pre-roll ad pops up, you aren't actually listening to the script. You aren't evaluating the merits of the software they are selling.
No, you're just looking for the exit.
Exactly. Your eyes are locked onto that little countdown timer in the corner, your mouse is hovering right over the skip button, and you are actively looking for a reason to reject the interruption before the person even finishes their first sentence.
That is a perfect parallel. The homeowner basically has a mental skip button primed and ready at the door.
But wait, I have to challenge the logic here for a second.
Okay.
If I'm a professional who has spent weeks or months, memorizing the technical specifications of my product, if I genuinely have the solution to this homeowner's leaking roof, shouldn't my expertise naturally cut through that defense?
You would think so.
Right. Why is it that smart, capable professionals get so hyper-focused on their pitch that they completely ignore the biological reality of the person standing right in front of them?
It's because of what we call the curse of knowledge, and really how corporate training is structured.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, companies spend 80% of their onboarding teaching features, benefits, processes. So when a rep finally gets in front of a prospect, their brain screams, finally I can deploy all this knowledge. I have the answers.
Oh, I see. They feel valuable when they are sharing facts.
Exactly. But they're trying to communicate with the prefrontal cortex, the logical decision-making part of the brain. But the homeowner is still trapped in the amygdala, the survival center.
So they're completely misaligned.
Yeah, you are essentially speaking a language they cannot hear yet.
If their brain is screaming, "Am I safe?" it makes total sense why the standard hyper-enthusiastic sales pitch completely backfires.
Oh, it's a disaster.
They aren't hearing great deal, they're hearing immediate threat. And the source actually calls this the doorstep disaster. So how exactly do poorly trained reps accidentally trigger this disaster and ruin their chances?
The source outlines a clear pattern of mistakes. And interestingly, most of them are born out of the rep's own anxiety and desperation.
Like what? What are they doing wrong?
Well, first, they arrive too aggressively. They talk incredibly fast. They lead with fear by immediately pointing to the roof and pushing the severity of the damage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would stress me out.
Right. And they make rapid-fire assumptions about what the homeowner needs. They interrupt, they over-explain every minor detail.
And let me guess, ultimately, they end up sounding exactly like every other contractor who has knocked on that door all week.
Exactly. They're trying to manufacture urgency before they have established safety.
Hold on, I really need to push back on that.
Yeah.
Isn't urgency the entire engine of sales? I mean, the whole stereotype is act now before it's too late.
Sure. That's the cliche.
Especially in storm restoration. If a massive tree branch just punctured my neighbor's roof and the news says another storm is coming this weekend, I want urgency.
Right.
If a rep comes to my door acting completely casual, slow, and unbothered, aren't I going to think they are apathetic and just don't take my problem seriously?
That is a highly nuanced point, and this raises an important question about the difference between professional calm and apathy.
Okay.
Because you aren't being casual, you are being grounded.
Hmm.
This source emphasizes that pushing fear, saying, your roof is going to cave in, you need to sign this right now.
Yeah.
That instantly creates resistance because it feels predatory.
I see.
The urgency is already present in the environment because of the storm.
Right, the homeowner already knows it's a problem.
Exactly. When a stranger arrives and tries to artificially amplify that stress to force a signature, the homeowner doesn't feel a sudden desire to buy. They feel cornered.
Right.
They feel manipulated.
Oh, and their immediate biological reaction is to shut the door to regain control of their physical environment.
Yes.
So the urgency is basically a fire that's already burning, and the rep throwing gasoline on it just makes the homeowner want to run out of the room.
Exactly that. Plus, we have to consider marketing saturation. People are advertised to from the moment they wake up until they go to sleep.
Oh, for sure. It's constant.
We have all developed a highly attuned radar for artificial sales tactics. When a homeowner opens the door and hears that fast-paced, high-pressure cadence, it triggers immediate pattern recognition.
Oh, interesting. So their brain says, I know exactly what the script is, I know how this interaction ends, and I want no part of it.
Yes. The immunity to standard sales tactics is very, very real.
It's a reflex. The moment you sound like a cliche, you've handed them the mental skip button.
And by trying to force the issue, the rep destroys the very foundation of trust they need to proceed. Safety is the absolute prerequisite for any real conversation.
So, knowing that aggressive, fear-based tactics are an absolute failure, let's transition to the actual mechanics of the solution.
Okay, let's do it.
Because the source provides a really specific system designed to bypass that reflex entirely. It's a framework for successfully navigating those crucial first 60 seconds.
Right.
And rather than just reading down a list of steps, let's look at how this actually plays out in real time, starting before the rep even opens their mouth.
Yeah, so the framework breaks this down into physical cues and verbal cues, all engineered to systematically downregulate the homeowner's nervous system.
Okay, let's start with the physical cues.
The source focuses heavily on posture and spatial awareness. Many eager salespeople will knock on a door and stand right up against the wood, leaning in.
Which is terrifying.
Right. From an evolutionary standpoint, that is physically aggressive.
Yeah.
The framework dictates that after you knock, you must take 2 full steps back.
2 full steps.
Yes. You keep your hands visible, and you maintain an open, relaxed stance.
The 2 steps back. That is such a subtle but brilliant micro behavior. I imagine that completely changes the power dynamic of the interaction.
It changes the concept of personal space bubbles, or proxemics. When you stand inches from the door, you are forcing yourself into their intimate space the second they turn the handle.
And the amygdala flares up again.
Exactly. By taking 2 steps back, you voluntarily move yourself into their social space. You are visually communicating, I am not a threat, and I am not going to force my way into your home.
You are giving them the physical space to breathe.
Yes.
It's like when someone stands a little too close to you in line at the grocery store.
Oh, I hate that.
Right. Your brain completely stops thinking about what you are going to make for dinner. It's just screaming, "Step back!"
Exactly.
Okay, so we've stepped back. We've established a baseline of physical safety. What comes next? I assume we have to say something eventually.
This is where the verbal cues begin. The source insists on a calm greeting, a lower, steady tone of voice. This directly combats that fast-talking, frantic auctioneer stereotype.
Which again goes against every instinct you have if you are a nervous rep who desperately needs to hit a quota this month.
Oh, for sure.
Like, when I get nervous, my vocal pitch goes up and I talk twice as fast. But if I force myself to be too calm, do I risk sounding like I lack passion for my job?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because passion is conveyed through conviction and clarity, not through speed and volume.
Ah, that's a good distinction.
Calmness acts as a psychological contagion. If you are frantic, you agitate the homeowner, they mirror your anxiety.
Yeah.
But if you are grounded, your lower vocal cadence actually helps regulate their nervous system.
Wow, so you're actually calming them down with your voice.
Yes, they subconsciously realize, okay, this person isn't frantic, so maybe I don't need to be defensive. You become the anchor in the interaction.
I love that phrase, calmness as a contagion. But, even if I am standing far back and speaking calmly, I'm still a stranger interrupting their dinner.
Right.
They still don't know who I am or what I want.
Which is why the next phase of the framework focuses on dropping the mystery immediately. Ambiguity breeds anxiety.
So true.
If someone is standing on your porch and you don't know their agenda, your guard remains up. The source states you must provide clear identification and a direct reason for being there.
No sneaky lead-ins.
Yeah.
No, like, hey, I was just driving by and admiring your incredibly well-maintained rose bushes.
Absolutely not. That kind of fake rapport triggers the brain's deception detector.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it violates trust instantly because the homeowner knows it is a tactic. Instead, you state exactly who you are, what company you represent, and exactly why you are on their porch without hesitation.
So just lay it all out.
Yeah, you say, I am here because we are doing roof inspections for your neighbors after Tuesday's storm.
It is direct professional honesty. You are treating them like a busy adult.
Exactly.
Which flows perfectly into how the source handles time and permission. The framework emphasizes demonstrating respect for the homeowner's time and moving into a permission-based conversation.
And this is perhaps the most counterintuitive part of the system for traditional salespeople.
Because they're taught to just push through.
Right. They are taught to always assume the sale and never give the prospect a chance to say no.
See, here's where it gets really interesting. This reminds me of the concept of a pressure valve.
Okay, how so?
Well, when a salesperson ignores boundaries and aggressively pushes their agenda, they're pumping steam into a closed tank. The pressure builds as the homeowner gets more and more defensive.
Oh, that's a great visual.
Right. But when you ask for permission, you're opening the valve. The steam escapes, and the tank, their anxiety, depressurizes.
I like that.
So what does this all mean? Does asking for permission and demonstrating a calm presence actually give the rep more control of the interaction?
What's fascinating here is that yielding control is practically the only way to gain genuine cooperation.
Oh, wow. Yielding control to gain it.
Let's analyze how that works systematically. The framework suggests acknowledging the interruption up front. You say, I know you weren't expecting me, and I only need 60 seconds of your time.
Setting a clear boundary.
First, you validate their reality. Yes, this is an interruption. Second, you establish a boundary. You promise not to hold them hostage on their own porch.
You are handing them the steering wheel.
You are. And the permission-based conversation takes it a step further. Instead of launching into a monologue, you ask a question that requires their consent to proceed.
Okay.
Often, a no-oriented question is incredibly powerful here. Something like, would you be opposed to me taking a quick look at the roof while I'm already out here?
Okay, why a no-oriented question? Why not just say, can I look at your roof?
Because saying yes feels like making a commitment. It feels like a trap to a defensive person.
Oh, yeah. Like if I say yes, I'm locked in.
Exactly. But saying no, I wouldn't be opposed, feels like retaining control.
Yeah.
By asking for permission, you replace aggressive hype with profound respect.
Oh.
You give them the autonomy to refuse. And psychologically, when human beings feel they have the genuine freedom to say no, they're exponentially more likely to agree.
Because you have removed the pressure, which creates that crucial feeling of safety.
Exactly. You aren't fighting their resistance. You're simply removing the wall they're trying to push against.
And if there's no wall to push, they stop pushing.
Exactly.
Which leads to the final step of the framework, which is a simple transition into the next step.
Correct. It is not a hard close. It is not a dramatic high-pressure demand for a signature. It is a frictionless move into the inspection process.
Right.
If you have executed the previous steps correctly, this transition should feel completely natural.
Because you aren't trying to force a square peg into a round hole anymore.
Exactly. You have established physical space, professional calm, direct honesty, and explicit permission.
Yeah.
The homeowner is no longer looking at you as a threat through the peephole. They are looking at you as a respectful professional, offering a logical next step to solve a problem.
It is a massive paradigm shift.
It really is.
So, to bring all of this together and synthesize what we've pulled from the source material today, the absolute core lesson here is that trust is not won by having the slickest pitch, the fastest talking speed, or the most encyclopedic knowledge of your product's features.
Trust is won or lost in the very first minute of interaction.
Yeah.
It requires the professional to stop centering themselves, stop centering their quota, and start centering the emotional and biological state of the person they're interacting with.
Right.
It is about understanding that you are dealing with a human being's nervous system long before you are ever dealing with their wallet.
You have to navigate their biology before you can navigate their business.
Perfectly said.
And that is the exact takeaway I want you, the listener, to apply to your own life today.
Absolutely.
Think about your own doorstep moments. When you are walking into a boardroom to start a tense meeting, or pitching a bold new creative idea to a skeptical boss.
Or even just introducing yourself to a new group of people at a dinner party.
Exactly. Remember the doorstep. Remember to create safety before you try to create urgency or push your agenda.
Right.
Lower the threat level. Establish mutual respect. Give them physical and verbal space, and allow them to feel comfortable with your presence.
Because if they do not feel safe with you, they will never feel safe with your ideas.
Beautifully said. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final lingering thought to chew on.
Okay.
We talked about how that final step of the framework is just a simple transition into whatever comes next.
Right.
Think about the gravity of that for a second. If you flawlessly execute those first 60 seconds, if you step back, lower your voice, respect their time, and establish complete, unwavering safety and trust,
Yeah.
how much does your actual sales pitch or your fancy PowerPoint presentation even matter?
That's a great question.
Has that person subconsciously already decided to buy into you?
Yeah.
Simply based on how you stood at their front door?